What is going on, people? We got a short staff today. Jay Lee is working, and Coy is dealing with some family issues and a loss, so he may be back Wednesday, but we're not quite sure yet. Um, but it's just Bro and I today, which that's all you really need. I'm just kidding. That's not all,
It is, you know.
but it is. It is. We are going to be talking and discussing the the graphic difference between what happened at the Capitol with the pro-Palestinian protest and the January 6th, and see the kinds of statements made by some people. And
Hmm.
I have to say some people because some people did some things, the squad,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and then the stuff that Mr. Trump said during his speech before the inauguration of, or at least the vote count of Mr. Biden.
Hmm.
So we will kick that off, and we look, we come with receipts. We don't just say stuff,
You know it.
and you get to decide what you see if what you're hearing is true. All right, so we'll be right back. All right, so people hear us out. For all intents and purposes, the left, and I will go with them first, loves to talk about how the right loves to incite violence.
Hmm.
Yet not one act can they point to so-called even radical right doing anything violent, yet still all they seem to do on the left, both radical and regular, is do violence. So I'm still trying to figure, but then again, all they do is project. So I mean,
Well, they can point back to Charlottesville. That's what they always try to point back to. But we know who those guys were.
mhm.
They weren't real, patriots or far right people. And then they could point back to. They could probably point to the Patriot Front, but we all know who they are too. So as Marlon said, show us real violence.
Yeah, that's what I want is the actual
Yeah.
act, not the statement of they're capable of it. Just because
Hmm.
someone's capable does not mean, yes, Chris, we can see you. Just because we're capable of something does not mean we actually go out and do it. The left, on the other hand, likes to say we're a peaceful name, meow, 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 and all that stuff. Meanwhile, you're the ones wielding machetes. So I'm just
Hmm.
saying. So we're going to do a compare and contrast today. And I think we ought to start with, we should start with Mr. Trump.
Yeah. The Don.
The Don, the Don Juan himself.
Yeah. The man.
Um,
The myth.
now, this was him on that day talking about um, what they're going to go do. Now, it is pivotal that the people watching this, whether you're left or right, if you're interested in truth, listen. Okay, you got two ears and one mouth for a reason. You should listen twice as much as you speak.
And before Marlon starts, make sure you guys are sharing this information because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of podcasts out here that don't look at it the way we're looking at it. So we're trying to show you both sides here. And we
Yeah.
want the people, the audience to decide who's more violent.
Yeah. So this is just before he ends his speech. Okay, this is what they usually like to play. So let's listen to exactly what he says. Okay.
You see, I wonder if he enjoyed his flight in last night. But when Romney got beaten, he stands up like your more typical. Well, I'd like to congratulate the victor. The victor. Who is the victor, Mitt? I'd like to congratulate. They don't go and look at the facts. Now I don't know. He got slaughtered. Probably. Maybe it was okay. Maybe it was. That's what happened. But we look at the facts, and our election was so corrupt that in the history of this country, we've never seen anything like it. You can go all the way back. America is blessed with elections all over the world. They talk about our elections. You know what the world says about us now? They say we don't have free and fair elections. And you know what else? We don't have a free and fair press. Our media is not free. It's not fair. It suppresses thought. It suppresses speech. And it's become the enemy of the people. It's
Period.
become the enemy of the people. It's the biggest problem we have in this country. No third world countries would even attempt to do what we caught them doing. And you'll hear about that in just a few minutes. Republicans are constantly fighting like a boxer with his hands tied behind his back. It's like a boxer. And we want to be so nice. We want to be so respectful of everybody, including bad people. And we're going to have to fight much harder. And Mike Pence is going to have to come through for us. And if he doesn't, that will be a sad day for our country. Because you're sworn to uphold our Constitution.
Period.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you.
Walk.
We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country. Our country. Our country has been under siege for a long time.
That's right.
Far longer than this 4-year period. We've set it on a much straighter course, I thought, 4 more years, I thought it would be easy. We created the greatest economy in history. We rebuilt our military. We get you the biggest tax cuts in history, right? We got you the biggest regulation cuts. There's no president, whether it's 4 years, 8 years, or in one case more, got anywhere near the regulation cuts. It used to take 20 years to get a highway approved. Now we're down to 2. I want to get it down to 1, but we're down to 2. And it may get rejected for environmental or safety reasons, but we got it down to safety. We created Space Force. Look at what we did.
Now, did you hear? I'm going to ask Bro first, I guess, before the audience. Did you hear anything about violence, about going down there and entering the Capitol or being violent or any? No?
Not once did it come out of his mouth about entering the Capitol. He said, we're going to march down to the Capitol peacefully and cheer on Congress. Sounds pretty peaceful to me. But you know what's funny? You'll go to some of these, I dread TikTok lives. Depends on who's on a live, but majority of them I just can't stand. And you always hear the same talking points. Donald Trump incited a riot. Donald Trump did an insurrection. Donald Trump is being prosecuted for an insurrection. He was impeached. He was never impeached for an insurrection, by the way. But they keep saying the same thing because they've been so brainwashed in the when this initially came out, to think that Donald Trump told people to go out there and cause an insurrection, as they like to say, which never happened because the words are right out of his mouth, and leftists refused to listen to it.
Right. So when he spoke and people went down there, this is what ensued. We're going to show you what they're doing. Now you can see for yourself what they're doing. I'm not going to play the person speaking because they're just talking and I don't want you to hear their biased nonsense. So just watch and see if what you can see tells you anything about what's going on. Come on, play.
Damn, that's such a scary insurrection.
That's scary. Oh my God.
Look how you see how they're all just standing in line and standing
they're
in the
staying
ropes.
within the confines of the ropes even.
Jesus. I mean, it looks pretty peaceful. They're laughing, they're joking, they're taking pictures.
That's
The
interesting.
police are just standing there. Look, they're just Hey, head on in, guys.
They're talking to the police.
Yeah, it's like they're visitors.
Hmm.
That is a scary,
Taking pictures. Protesters enter the building as both sides of Congress are locked down. Yeah. Okay.
Scary.
Ain't that something? And this goes on for the entirety of the run. Let's go outside.
There's no fire. There's no smoke. The only booms and smoke came from
We're coming from the Capitol Police.
Yeah, the Capitol Police, who were inciting.
Okay. Look, they're just standing out there with their flags. All right. So that is what happened that day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's do a comparison, shall we? Let's listen to Miss Rashida and what she said on the House floor concerning Israel and Palestine. Now, we are not talking about whose side we're on. I just want you to listen to her rhetoric, and then we'll show you what her rhetoric infused people to do. Okay, that's all we're doing is comparison. So here you go. Here she is.
Yep, that's okay.
The gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you so much. I am the only Palestinian American serving in Congress, and I have a family members all throughout the West Bank and what many people call the illegally occupied territories. But we're here again, reaffirming Congress support for apartheid, policing the words of women of color who dare to speak up about truths, about oppression, is just not what we should be doing here in Congress. And let's just get this record straight here. This is not something that's made up. The United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, Israel's own largest human rights organization, Beit Salem, all agree that Israel is an apartheid state. To assert otherwise, Mr. Speaker, in the face of this just body of evidence is an attempt to deny the reality and to normalize violence of apartheid. This week, we're going to hear consistently that people touting about like, oh, this is bipartisan support here. Well, don't forget, this body, this Congress supported the South African apartheid regime, and it was bipartisan as well. But you don't have to take it from me to understand the racism of an apartheid government. Let's take a moment just to hear Israeli government's own politician in their own words, direct quotes, not mine. Current Prime Minister Netanyahu on his policies towards Palestinians, quote, beat them up, not once, but repeatedly, beat them up until it's unbearable, and said that Israel must, quote, crush Palestinian hopes for a fully sovereign state. One of the former defense ministers said Palestinians are, quote, beasts, and they are not human. He's talking about people like my grandmother, Mr. Speaker. How about former Justice Minister who said they should go, as should the physical homes in which they raise the snakes. Otherwise, more little snakes will be raised there. How about another former defense minister said, quote, those who are against us, there's nothing to be done. We need to pick and axe them and cut off their heads.
Can I ask a quick question? Has she not said the same thing about Republicans?
Yes. Now, with her rhetoric, and again, Marlon and I let me speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for Marlon. I'm not picking sides. You know how I feel. I've said it on many episodes how I feel about this whole conflict. I just want the killing to stop. But she needs to talk about what the Palestinians are saying about the Israelis also, because they said some pretty foul stuff about them, just the same as what Israelis said about Palestine. So it goes both ways. You can't just get up here and say it's only one side saying this stuff. It's the other side saying the same thing. It's tit for tat.
Right.
So be honest when you get up there. Don't sit up there and try to pull on the heartstrings, talking about your grandma and your family, and you're trying to pull on the heartstrings. Tell the truth. And that's the problem with politicians.
Did Israel birth Hamas? Or was that a Palestinian movement?
That was a Palestinian movement.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure that Hamas didn't come out of Israel. It's not Israelis that belong to Hamas. It's the Palestinians that belong to Hamas. Again, it's not a matter of sides. It's a matter of truth.
Yeah.
If you want to say that Israel has done some egregious things, I'll agree with you. They've done some stupidness, just like America has done some egregious things. Not going to lie about that. Why would I need to lie about that? But this is not about who's done the most egregious things. This is about who kicked off the latest egregious things, and that's Hamas. I'm sorry, Hamas was
is
the
what it
first to
is.
fire this time around, and like I keep saying, the fight has been going back and forth for a long time, and these guys have been at war for almost more than 2,000 years, almost 3 to
3,400.
5,000 years now.
Yeah.
They've been going at each other's throats since David beat Goliath. I mean, it's nothing new. But for her, if you watch, what she's harping on is violence and killing. Now, if you know anything about when somebody says, this group is a group of violent killers and they want other people dead, you know for a fact that the people that watch you and listen to you, just like they have been saying since the whole Donald Trump era, you need to what? Fight back. That's what they always say. And they've actually gone out and killed people on American soil because of certain rhetoric coming out of certain people's mouths. So you're trying to tell me that you're trying to say that this is like apartheid is not going to cause people to get up and do some dumb stuff? Of course it will. She knows that. She knows exactly what she's saying. Let her idiot mouth continue, though.
Another quote, there is no such thing as Palestinian people.
General Lady's time has expired.
At its core. Mr. Speaker, Israel's own president, who's
The General Lady's time has
Congress.
expired. Does the gentleman from New York reserve or yield?
I give the General Lady 30 seconds.
Israel's own president, Herzog, who's going to come before Congress tomorrow, has long advocated against interracial marriages. Did you all know that?
And just so people know, Israel and Palestine are not that far off in terms of races. They're not a different race. It's Middle Eastern. It's not like one's a whole different race than the other. That's not racism. It might be nationalism, but it's not racism. But you can use the word racism, you're gonna get more people to join your cause.
Exactly.
This is how people, and Jew is not a race either, it's a religion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so silly to me that people will look at people from Palestine and Iran, and if Iran hates people from Palestine, it's not racism, but people from Israel not liking Palestinians, then it's racist. This whole thing, it is absolutely insane to me that she's allowed to say the kind of stuff that she says, but I'll let her finish her 30 seconds of fame.
You care? He said on the news segment, look it up. When he came to America, he said, quote, encountered something that I call an actual plague. I saw my friends' children married and coupled with non-Jewish partners. Israel is an apartheid state.
They're supposed to be finally being that way.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of being an Israelite and a Jew is to remain a Jew fully. They were banned by God from joining with other peoples. If they adhere to their religious beliefs, that's a good thing. It has nothing to do with race.
Mm-hmm.
If a Jew goes to marry a non-Jew, you are indeed doing something antithetical to what you were asked to do. It's their religion. This has nothing to do with race, you idiot. But you have to say the word in order to make people hate people.
And on the other side, too, there are some Muslims that are against that also. If you're a non-Muslim, a lot of Muslim religion and a lot of Muslim families don't want you to marry a non-Muslim. A Muslim is not going to marry a Christian. You know, a lot of times, just depends on how modern they are. But,
That's
you know, it's the same. It's the same way. But she's only talking. I mean, she's trying to pull on heartstrings. She's virtue signaling up there, and she's trying to get a reaction. That's what her speech was about, and she got the reaction that she wanted. And then I think there's a video running around when someone, after we played the next clip, there was a video where a reporter was chasing her down, questioning her about this, and she ran off and she said some snide remark about Israelis. I have to find that. I'm going to have to look for it, but
yeah, if you can find that. And this is what, after her speech, this is what the Capitol looked like on their part. Okay, this is them. Now, a quick question. if Congress is in session, would you consider this a disrupting of Congress? And if it's a
Yes.
disruption of Congress, is that a crime? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So if you're in the Capitol doing this, as opposed to what you saw supposed January 6 people doing, which one do you think is the more egregious of a crime? I'm just asking for a friend. Let him continue chanting.
You don't hear chanting in the so-called Jan 6 insurrection. You don't hear him screaming and yelling inside like
No,
this.
you don't. That's a very good question, BB. I don't know. It's the left. Does anybody know why they do anything anymore? I mean, let's just be honest. They're not the brightest bulbs in the pack, okay? Nor are they the sharpest knife in the drawer, and they're not the most useful tool in the shed. Let's just be
No.
honest about that, okay? They have a completely warped view of what is and isn't allowed. So if you're telling me that they were disrupting and people had to flee for their life for January 6th with no noise, but then you have this happening in the center with disruption, and this is not an insurrection, and it's only an insurrection because you were trying to overthrow something you say that was governmentally charged in terms of the election. What part of what they did overthrew anything? It's a simple question. What fear did anyone have that what they did on January 6th would overthrow the election at all?
Nothing.
If the votes
Absolutely
were
nothing.
counted in sequestering, why would it matter what they were doing on the outside, right? But since you made it a point that any kind of disruption of federal business is a crime,
Mm-hmm.
explain
This.
And
if they're trying to overthrow something, I mean, they were trying to overthrow, they say they were trying to overthrow the results of the election with the so-called insurrection. What are they trying to do here? They're trying to overthrow the government's decision to help whatever side they want, mainly
right,
the Israeli side. So
Israelis.
they're in there trying to disrupt it, to overthrow it by chanting and doing their little, hippie drum circle right here.
Hippie drum.
This is what they're trying to do, and they have to realize that them doing all this isn't going to change the decision that Congress has made, just like it didn't change the decision with January 6th,
Right.
or the 2020 election. Sorry.
Now, what you're gonna see next? Did you manage to find that stuff, by the way, sir?
Yeah, I sent it to your chat.
Messenger. Okay,
Messenger.
good.
You're a messenger.
Okay, good. I'm looking for it. I don't see it.
It says, let me see. It's still loading. I'm sorry.
Sending. Okay, that's what I thought. In the meantime, we're going to listen to one of the main war hawks, the Captain Rhino himself, top dog of stupidity, and Biden lover wannabe, Lindsey Graham.
Yep.
Words cannot express how distasteful this man is and how disgusting this human is and how two-faced, fork-tongued, and vile Lindsey Graham is. And I hope Lindsey Graham hears this, because I'm going to say this to your face one day, I hope. You are a bottom-dwelling snake.
Exactly.
Worst of the absolute worst. You have been behind every vote for war since you have been there. You're the same one that says you want to level Palestine, right? Blast the whole thing to hell. And when confronted about the war, this is what Lindsey Graham did. Y'all ready for this? I don't think you are. I wasn't.
Can you turn that? Thank you. Daniel Cohen, I'm the Jerusalem correspondent for Newsmax. I want to say thank you for being here. My family lives here. I made Aliyah 2 years ago. So this is personal. I know many people were sent from the United States, and there's international press from around the world. And I heard every single one of you voicing your support for Israel fervently, stridently. And I heard that, and I received that into my heart. And so on behalf of my family and people, I'm an American and an Israeli citizen, I say thank you. But it starts at home. And I'd like to ask any Democrat senator here that would like to speak to Rashida Tlaib. She still has a tweet up condemning Israel for a hospital attack. And
stop.
It's not a
No.
It's a
Stop.
fair question, Senator Graham.
You
We
don't tell me to stop.
are here together, not to talk about the problems at home, which are many.
It's a fair
I've got
question,
my
Senator.
own view of what to say. You're
But
not
say
going to
it.
screw this up.
I'm not trying to screw it
Get
up.
this guy out of here. Now, let
I
me
live
tell
here.
you.
I'm an Israeli.
Now, I want you to listen to what he just said, right? Get that guy out of here. Now, listen to the very next words. I cannot make this up. There is no way for me to prep you for the next statement he's going to make. He just said to kick the guy out for doing what? Asking a question. That was all. Okay, listen.
I want an answer to the question, please.
I'm an American,
And I am too.
and I believe in free speech.
What? Okay, hold on. You believe in free speech while shutting up a reporter asking you using his free speech.
They do it right in front of our face every time. And this is the entitlement of people like Lindsey Graham and all these politicians like that weird looking dude to the left. I know his face. I can't remember his name because it's irrelevant to me. And even that
Blumenthal.
weirdo.
That's
yeah, Blumenthal and that
Yeah.
other weirdo to the right, and then two handlers on each side. It's the entitlement for me. You know, they believe that they have the power and the authority to shut you down anytime they want when you ask something that they don't like. And just look at the entitlement. Get him out of here. I believe in free speech. He doesn't believe in free speech. He believes in speech that he wants to hear.
Controlled speech.
Controlled speech. He's just another war hawk, another one that's part of the system who wants to shut us down, who doesn't want to hear what we have to say, only what him and the people that support him have to say.
Now, right after he says he believes in free speech, after shutting somebody up, he's going to tell you the kind of free speech he believes in. You ready? Here we go.
I don't believe what the squad has to say
Thank
at
you.
all. But I came here with Democrats and Republicans to let everybody in the world know, don't judge every Democrat by the squad, and don't judge every Republican by some of the things you hear. Where the House, where the House, they'll get their act together, but we need to do our job.
Your job is to call out the people that go against the United States the democratic setup. I know we're a republic. I get that. But with the way we have it set up right now is that you are allowed to correct people that are in your wheelhouse, which is Congress and the Senate.
That's right.
But if you're not going to do that, how are you going to go on the world stage and talk to other people when you can't even correct things? Well, we have to fix things at home, which are many, but we're not here for that right now. Well, you can't talk to me about my stuff when you got your stuff going on.
That's right.
Like, come on.
And this isn't the first time you've heard something like this come out of a politician's mouth. I mean, I don't want to get off topic, but I'm trying to make a correlation here. Look at what Mike Pence said when he was interviewed by Tucker Carlson at that town hall. He's like, well, I'm not here to talk about that, you know, something about America or something. And Tucker, everybody was like, what? Did he just say that? So they don't care about America. Again, everything is a rich man's trick. We're going to keep saying this over and over again. He is part of the system that are playing both sides of this war. That's it. You got to look at him like that. He doesn't care about either side. And he shows you right here when he's questioned. It's wherever them dollars are coming in.
I found that video now, so let's get that up here.
All right, this is Talib running. One question.
Is it up? Do I have it up? Okay, good.
That's it.
Terrorists have cut off babies' heads and burned children alive. Do you support Israel's rights to defend themselves against this brutality?
We're just gonna go through there.
You can't comment about Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads? Congresswoman, do you have a comment on Hamas terrorists chopping off babies' heads?
Interesting.
She'll say something.
Do you condone what Hamas has done, chopping off babies' heads, burning children alive, raping women in the street?
Itching to say something.
You have no comment about children's heads being chopped off? Congressman, why do you have a Palestinian flag outside your office if you do not condone what Hamas terrorists have done to Israel? Do Israeli lives not matter to you?
Silence
Is
is
what?
compliance. I mean,
Okay. It's
that means she
consent,
agrees.
right?
She agrees. She
Yeah.
agrees what's going on. So she kept her silence without addressing the question. She just agreed to Palestinians or Hamas chopping off the heads of children.
Children.
Hey,
Now-
they're telling you exactly who they are, people. We keep saying this. The veil has been lifted. The masks are coming
Slipping off.
They're slipping off. These people are mocking us and doing it right in front of our face. And we got the little monkeys in America still like, oh, I love her so much. She's so powerful.
She's so
Girl
brave.
Power, girl power. Slay it, queen. You guys need to wake up to these frauds.
The thing is here, she's quick to say what Israel's doing, right? When pointed out of what Hamas and Palestinians are doing, she could have easily said this. This is all she had to say.
Mm-hmm.
There is no proof that Hamas or even the Palestinians do that at all.
Mm-hmm.
If it did happen, horrible. But so far, there's no proof. You could have said that. But the mere fact that you're saying nothing tells me that you are okay with it. In fact, you might want that. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if tomorrow Rashida comes out and blatantly says on camera she wishes for the death of Israelis. And people will not say a thing.
She'll get caught saying it. She'll slip up. Someone will catch her. She'll slip up. And it'll come out. And like you said, you're right. No one would bat an eye. They'd just be like, oh, okay.
It's crazy to me. I'm gonna see. I bet you she has said it and no one wants to say something about it.
Where's that other one? Where's the rest of the squad? I know if they've said some crazy stuff too. That other little one that married her brother, the incest one.
Yeah, she hasn't happened to see anything by her yet. I know that AOC is being AOC. Ain't nobody care about what AOC. She's like the female version of Biden anyway.
She looks like her breath stinks anyway. She'd eat whole corn on the cob, just and just throw it.
So the other thing that she's under criticism for is the murder of that Jewish synagogue leader lady, Samantha Wall. She got stabbed inside of the synagogue. You heard about this, right? Okay. So there's a stab in Detroit. The synagogue board president on Saturday, and she was stabbed. This was right after her speech, by the way.
Interesting. I didn't see this.
Yeah. She was pronounced dead at the scene. A motive has not been determined, of course not. Nor has a suspect been made public as Saturday evening, of course not. Despite the unclear motive, the news of Wall's slaying sparked fresh backlash against Tlaib and social media, with people blasting the Michigan Democrat over a post she shared last week on X. The post she's posted was, Israel just bombed the Baptist hospital, killing 500 Palestinians, doctors, children, patients, just like that. POTUS, this is what happens when you refuse to facilitate a ceasefire and help de-escalate. Your war and destruction only approach has opened my eyes to many Palestinian Americans and Muslim Americans like me. We will remember where you stood.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to hear Donald Trump say something about a certain kind of person, and then a crime was committed against that certain type of person, you know what the first thing left would say? This was Donald Trump's doing because he spoke ill about these people and his followers went out and did something. But on the shoe being on the other foot, it wasn't her. This was a rogue agent, and there's nothing to see here.
I mean, look at all the riots going on between New York and LA and Chicago, everywhere around the country, not everywhere around the country, but in certain cities in the country. You know, people are flipping over cars, they're rioting. Can we tie that back to, Tlaib and the rest of the clowns in Congress? But if that was to happen, let's flip it. Like you said, happened under Donald Trump's watch and people started rioting and doing things in the street, it'd all be blamed on Donald Trump for the burning down of cities. You see how this works? The hypocrisy is right in front of our faces every single day. And there are Americans out there that don't see it.
It is insane to me how quickly these people can flip the script. But then again, they own the media.
Mm-hmm.
They can flip a story anyhow they want, the same way they can omit and make you lose videos that you know you've seen before. The reason why you can look up something about Biden. Okay, do yourself a favor. Go look up Biden sniffing children and see how many videos pop up. They're already starting to limit.
Can't hear you.
Yeah. Is it back yet?
Yeah, now it is.
It's been doing that. I have to find a different power plug for this microphone. Anytime something trips in the house, the microphone clicks off too.
Yeah, you were talking about go and look up Biden's, and then it cut off at that.
Look up Biden. Sniffing kids and see how many videos you find. And if you remember seeing it before, look at how many are there now. You'll find very little. In fact, go look up Biden and the conversation he had with the Black Caucus. I guarantee you won't find it. You have to look ridiculously deep for this. You have to look really deep. It is obvious at this point, like you said, Michael, that they have a deep-seated, one-directional aim for the media.
Mm-hmm.
And it's blaringly obvious, but they've done such a good job of making people stupid in this country that no one seems to care. The current generation, they want to say is the smartest. They're not smart.
No.
Just because you can handle an iPad and I could swipe your finger on a screen does not make you intelligent whatsoever. It just makes you savvy on the stuff that makes you dumber.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Okay, so you can interact with a screen. Oh, wow, good for you. Come on. That's not intelligence. I get that there's left brain and right brain. What side of the brain is the screen? That's all I want to know.
This has been working since Obama. It started a little bit before him, but Obama was the catalyst to it. Especially when he passed that propaganda thing. He took, where the media can push propaganda and he made it legal. Mm-hmm. It's all in the plan. So people have to look at everything you see on the news as propaganda. Mm-hmm. You have guys like us and other podcasters and other people, and I'm not talking about mainstream media, news media people. I'm talking about, the grassroots people who will go and actually dissect stuff and actually look at stuff. And you can, if you just look at it and listen to it, you can understand what's propaganda and what's not propaganda. And a lot of this stuff dealing with this conflict is propaganda. It's to get people to pick sides. And if people don't get it, I don't understand how you don't get it. Is to get people to pick sides. And I said this before on the other pod, on the Hooch, is to get us to pick sides, to pit us up together against each other, because that old term stands: divide
and conquer.
And this is exactly what they're doing. And a lot of citizens across the world are falling into this trap. Understand that. This is why, as Americans, unless you have family over there and you have some type of tie to that place, don't get involved with it. Stay out of it. Focus on here. Because the only way they can get a war to go or any type of conflict, they have to get the backing of the people. It's one of the tenets. If the people aren't backing it, we can't win it. So we got to stop. We got to stop picking sides. You can have empathy for people. You can feel for the people over there on both sides that are losing family members, women and children and innocent people. But that's all we can do. Hands off. Focus on our own country. Because if we're not focusing on our own country, or we're watching what's going over in that country, something's going to happen here and it's going to come in like a thief in the night. And then we're all going to be sitting here surprised. Never be surprised. Pray for those people. Think about those people. Focus on our own. I'm just saying.
Just saying. So I did a lookup, right? I looked it up. Looked up Biden sniffing children. That's what I typed in.
Mm-hmm.
This is the results I got. All right. So you got 1, 2, but you notice that the thumbnails they're using, right? You see the thumbnails?
Mm-hmm.
They're not showing a whole lot, are they? In fallen. What does this have to do with sniffing children? Tell me. What does this have to do with sniffing children? Sharper minded. What's this? What's this? What is all this? What does this have to do with sniffing children? What's the dog? Come on. The dog? Hunter Biden? A press conference? White House statement? Cigarettes? I typed in specifically Biden sniffing kids. And I get 1, 2, 3. I got 3. The rest have nothing to do with that. What is this? Nurse whispered in his ear. He's talking to Lurch here. Joe Rogan. Somebody please tell me, what does that have to do with sniffing kids when you know for a fact it's been years of this stuff going on?
Yeah, and I know I get a lot of questions, at least myself. They're like, well, you talk about not trusting the media and not trusting this, not trusting that, but you guys use all these media clips in your podcast and you guys talk about them. We talk about them so you guys can see it and think for yourselves and come up with your own conclusion on what you're seeing. We're not in here trying to tell you this is what you will listen to and believe. Come up with your own conclusion. We're just facilitators. Think of it that way. We facilitate the information.
Yeah.
We dissect it with our opinion. It is up to you to come up with your own opinion on what you saw. If you don't agree with something we're saying, we're totally fine with that because we're not here to, push propaganda and brainwash people to think like us. But that's the whole purpose. Yes, we do go to the media. We do pull clips. We do watch it. We do read it. And then we facilitate it. You decide what's real to you and what's not.
Right.
Nothing is real to me, even though I talk about it, because I don't trust none of them.
Look, for all intents and purposes, we can go as far back as you want. Joe Biden speaking on the Senate floor and then the Congress floor talking about the racial jungle remark, making talks about what he's, the calling them predators.
You ain't black.
It's all of it's very hard to find now. Why? Mm-hmm. Because they don't want negative press out about the people that they're trying to get you to like. The same way they're not going to tell Lindsey Graham to dog the squad because Lindsey Graham does not want the squad called out. Lindsey Graham needs you to focus on what he's trying to tell you to make you believe what he's saying. He doesn't care about the truth. He wants you to get involved in the war and get behind killing people. This is exactly what George Bush did. George Bush was one, and I'm talking about Junior, was one of the worst, in my estimation, president, not just because of policy. This man orchestrated the implementation, not the plan. He orchestrated the implementation of the plan for 9/11.
Yep.
And he stood there in front of the camera, lying to us about who did it so that you would be sympathetic enough to go kill people that had nothing to do with American lives being lost, and orchestrated an entire decade-long war over it, costing thousands more of American troops and lives. These are the people we're dealing with. This is bigger than Donald Trump, much bigger than Donald Trump.
And I talked about on the Hooch, and everybody was asking because a lot of people here watch the Hooch also. What was the Hooch? Sunday? Excuse me, yesterday. And I talked about a documentary, which I don't know if Marlon's seen. It's called I Pet Goat.
Yeah.
You've seen it. Mm-hmm. Go in there and watch that documentary. And it talks about, it shows exactly what Marlon's talking about. It shows how George W. Bush, when he was in that school and the things these kids were saying, but it's in kind of a cartoonish documentary form, and how he knew right there that this was all planned, and he tried to play it off like he was surprised. Then he gets in front of the American people and lies to us about why we're going to Iraq. His first statement was what, Marlon? Because he tried to kill my dad.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? Mm-hmm. And people laughed that off like, you're going to send people to war over that? Somebody trying to kill your dad? You're going to send a whole country to war over that? Oh, wait, it's weapons of mass destruction. Okay. People got behind that. Not going to lie. They're trying to bomb it or whatever. That's the propaganda that was pushed. Then when we get there and didn't find it, what did he say? Well, I guess There weren't no weapons of mass destruction. And people laughed it off. People laughed it off. Instead of saying, wait a minute, I just lost 3 family members. I know people that lost family members over there for a war you told us that was for weapons of mass destruction. Then you get up here on the world stage and tell us that there were no weapons of mass destruction. So what's the truth? And this is when you got to start questioning everything. Don't jump behind any propaganda, any war that our country or any of these powers to be talk about. It's all planned.
Yeah.
Period.
Point blank. The biggest issue I see going forward here is going to be misinformation to get people to be careful. Okay, this is why we want you to listen to everything, which is why we're not just trying to push one side. Because the only way to get to the bottom of anything is to listen to both sides and see where the incongruency lies. Right now, they're going to start telling you things that isn't true by showing you only one side. You have to start looking deeper than just the 16 seconds and 1 minute block on the screen here, and fast as you can see it, that's better. You have to spend the time, if you really want the truth, that is. You have to spend the time looking, listening, and understanding what you're seeing. Otherwise, they can easily pull the wool over your eyes. This is why I tell people, whether Hamas fired the first shot or Israel did, leave them to their own devices. Let them figure this crap out themselves. The reason they're this far down the road right now is because other people stepped into this thing where we shouldn't have. The same reason America should have never stepped into the Middle East at all in any of the wars. The same reason America should have never dibbled and dabbled in Africa at all. The same reason we should have never, ever, ever gone to Vietnam. Every time we step our foot into something that does not belong to us, we end up losing lives, but end up coming up looking as the peacemakers or the world police. No, what you really are, the world instigators. And we need to sit our behind down and deal with things happening here, period.
And, you know, by now, everybody should know what these wars are actually for. And we keep saying they don't care about the people. It's not about the women. It's not about the children. It's not about anything but the resources and control and power.
Right.
They want to take control of those lands forever for whatever reasons they want them for, mainly resources, to control it. That's nothing to do with the people, man. They don't care. But I just sent Marlon I sent you another video. It's about just to see if people can identify if this is propaganda, because I want them to tell me if this looks real. If it looks real, or does it look like a stage? And this is how you got to dissect videos and look at them. If it doesn't look right, you're in an active so-called war zone, and you're on top of a rooftop with lights, camera, and action, and you're just standing up there. It looks like you're in a lounge or something. Does this look real?
Let's do it. Let's bring it up. We'll close off with this one. Look at this, guys. Okay.
I want the people to decide.
Yeah. Y'all tell us what you think of this.
Yeah, of course, as sirens are going off, which has not occurred here for really today, certainly, or the last several days. They're quite extensive sirens. You hear them all over Tel Aviv right now. This just started about 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds ago. So it remains to be seen. If rockets do come, generally they come from that direction. That sounded like Iron Dome interception. That was a rather large explosion.
With nothing
something we have
being
not
seen.
heard very much here in Tel Aviv. No, I think we're fine in this location. I think that was Matthew. What do you think? Was that an Iron Dome interception?
I've no idea. I mean, I haven't heard anything like that in Tel Aviv.
Yeah,
since I've been here.
Now, did that look real, or did it look like some really bad acting and staged? I mean, think about it. He's standing up there they're both up there with their hands on their hips, and there's supposed explosions going on, and they're just standing there like, ugh. Those of us who have been in, on a two-way range in a real deal, Holyfield, we know how the reaction really would have been, especially to civilians who have never really been around stuff like that. You're not going to just stand there. The first thing you're going to do is you don't know where those rockets are coming in. You don't know what they're aiming at. I don't know. The sirens are going off. Why are you still standing up there? How do you know that the rockets weren't aimed at that little stage you were standing on? So you're just going to stand up there and with your hands on your hips and did that sound like the Iron Dome? I've never heard the Iron Dome in Tel Aviv before. Really? Did it even look real? It looked like a sound stage, right? Look at the flooring.
Did you see what happened? I want people to look at this, right? Now, remember, we are seeing a different camera angle than they were, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The people in the audience were seeing a different camera angle. Now, watch the guy holding the light and watch what the light does.
Yeah, of course, as sirens are going off, which has not occurred here for really today, certainly, or the last several days. They're quite extensive sirens. You hear them all over Tel Aviv right now. This just started about 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds ago. So it remains to be seen. If rockets do come, generally they come from that direction.
You see it?
That sounded like Iron Dome.
Did you see what the light? Did you see what the light did? Look at that little white light up here, right?
Right there. Okay, I got it.
Okay, watch what the light does when you hear the lightning strike or the bomb strike.
Okay.
That sounded like Iron Dome interception.
Watch again. You see it, right?
To be seen. If rockets do come, generally they come from that direction.
You see how bright it went?
That sounded like.
Oh yeah.
You know why it went bright? To change the lighting on his face on the people that watch the normal camera, so they really think that something explosive happened in the background. Just that one little flare of light on the screen, just.
It looked like they were at the Ritz-Carlton or something. You see the flooring on that stage and the glass, and it was all fancy, and they're just up there with lights and cameras. And I mean, you're in an active war zone. You don't have any body armor. You don't have body armor on, no plates. You don't have a helmet on. Yeah, I mean, you guys got to go all the way back to Desert Storm. You remember that footage? I think we can close out with that one, Marlon. Remember that fake footage? And they were like, "Oh, there's a Scud missile attack," and they had their helmet and put the mask on. You remember that?
That was NBC, wasn't it?
Yeah, and people bought that stuff back then. Now, if you look at it, you're like, that was some bull crap. This is bull crap. This is propaganda. This is all propaganda, and they're good at it. They fake so many things, and that's another topic. You know how I feel about a lot of things that they show us. So this is one of them. And if you can't see it, you need to open your eyes and do something. Take the veil off, take the mask off, and see the world for what it really is. Can't awaken you. You only can do that yourself. Can't be forced. Conscious choice.
Let me see if I can find I'm trying to remember who it was that did it.
You just got to look at Desert Storm Scud missile attack or something. But you guys will see what we're getting at, how the propaganda machine when it comes to war is big. Understand that.
There it is.
Remember, they focus on a certain percentage, the loudest percentage with the smallest brains. That's their target. They're not targeting people like us. They're targeting the loudest ones. And they're the ones that are the loudest have the smooth brains, have the window lickers, doorknob sucker, whatever. Those are the people that they target. They don't target free thinkers, man.
I gotta find the right one. I'm watching right now.
Yes, Missy.
But I can't find that one spot.
Yeah, Missy said people need to stop watching their BS, quit believing politicians because you are not their best interests. Never have been, and I don't know anyone in their right mind who would just stand there like a fool. Exactly. Who would just stand there? You don't know where the explosions are coming from. You don't know where the rockets are going, and you're in an active supposed war zone. Get out of here.
I got it. All right, this is it. This is proof that they've been doing it for a long time. Okay, they've been lying to us for a long time about what's going on.
Just like the moon landing.
Here we go. Here, listen up.
Here we go.
Was simply to go to Charles Jaco for an update about what was happening in Kuwait City this morning. We want to roll the video right before he was supposed to go on the air, and you'll see what happened as he was preparing to do a live report to us back here in Atlanta. Can we roll that now? Hey, could somebody please put that? Wow.
How do you believe this stuff?
CNN's
Look at this.
Is here with me. Just came up Earl, I know we can't be very specific given these restrictions, but within those parameters, what did you see?
Well, what I saw, I didn't see anything hit. I looked almost straight above us. There's a vapor trail coming from my right to my left, and there's a cloud of something. It looks like it might have been an explosion of cloud. I'd say.
Oh my God. So one guy puts on a mask, one guy puts on a helmet. So the guy with the helmet is screwed because the guy with the mask, you see what I mean? You see, this makes no sense. I spent 22 years in the military, man. Trust me.
Hold on, it gets much better.
That's
It gets so
bullcrap.
much better. Wait, because he takes it off.
You may smell some of the fumes from a missile exhaust going off. The missiles use a rocket cordite, some sort of burning.
And guess what, Marlon? There are freaking people out there in our country and in the world who believe that. Who believed it. And this is how the propaganda machine works. It's just got way more advanced with blue screens and Project Blue Beam and all this and blue screens and green screens. And just watch a good movie. And look at all the technology that they can make that look so dang real to you. And this is exactly what they're doing to us. It's all propaganda, man. Turn off the TV, like Missy said. Stop watching their bull crap. Stop buying into it. It's all mind control. Tell, lie, vision. It's there to control you through patterns and numbers and colors and repeating things over and over again. That's what people have to understand. So don't buy into it. Call it out. Make fun of them. Talk about their mama. Do whatever. We're not buying it anymore, CNN. We're not buying it mainstream media. We're not buying it, politicians. You guys, there's a bunch of us that aren't fooled by your bull crap. I mean, it's laughable. We can laugh at it now, but this is happening. You know what I mean? You got to think about everything that has been done. If they're willing to go this far in a war to get us to buy into it, imagine what they do in our own land. It makes you question everything that they said has happened. And you should. I'm just saying.
Man, look, if you needed a good laugh, I hope that was it, because that stuff was funny. It's how he just put the thing on and then kind of nonchalantly walked to the back and then nonchalantly walked forward and then came up to the guy and said, you have a helmet on. I have a mask.
I have a mask. And the guy didn't even put the helmet on right.
Like what you're smelling might be just vapor trailed a little bit.
But if Marlon, if you can do me a favor, put the link to iPet Goat in the chat, and people just need to go and watch it. It's very interesting.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube, and it's short. It'll say iPet Goat 2, but it's iPet Goat, same thing. And go in there, and it's not that long. Go in there and watch it and see if you guys can use your critical thinking skills to kind of break down what they're saying. And you have to really watch it and try to break it down yourself before you go to watch the reaction, the breakdowns of it, and see if you can figure out what they're saying and what they're showing us in it. And it's really good. It's kind of eerie, but there's messages in it. And some anonymous person made it. And if people can't figure out who the person it is that made it, but he's giving us something. He's showing us something in this video. You just have to decipher it and break it down.
Right.
It was like when Biden went to Ukraine and freely walked around in war zone.
Right. Yeah.
It would never happen.
Right now with Biden going over to Israel. He went over there.
I know.
I don't know why you would send your president into an active war zone. That has never happened before.
I mean, his chin went over there too.
I mean, two of them.
Yeah, both chins.
He's a Bolchinian, is what he is.
He's a Bolchinian.
If y'all ever seen Men in Black, he's a Bolchinian.
And speaking of that, I mean, this is something we talked about in our group chat. This is something that we were thinking about talking about. But if you look at his face, he looks like he's high and like he looks like he's on cocaine, and his chin is he's just like.
Look, if it's plastic surgery, he needs to get a new doctor.
Mm-hmm. Something's wrong. Everything is a rich man's trick. We are currently living a Truman Show.
He might be trying to look like Hunter Biden's paintings. I don't know. He might be trying to get to that abstract look of his face.
Oh my God. I mean, it's so freaking obvious and people can't see it, man. I don't get it. Maybe we'll never get it. Like I said, people can't wake up and there's a lot of terms people use for awaken it. That is something we can't do for you. That is a self thing. That's you consciously have to wake up. There's a theory behind how you do it, but you need to wake up and tell your friends they need to wake up and see the truth and keep showing the truth and keep spreading the truth. Don't be afraid of what people say about you. You know, we don't care. We get called every name in the freaking book.
It's hilarious now.
Yeah, they call us the same names over and over again, and they call us this so much we don't even care anymore. We're just like, yep, that's what I am.
Never cared to begin with. But hey,
that's what I am. Yep, I'm that. Yep, I am. I'm exactly that.
Today is Monday. We will be back on Wednesday, and hopefully we'll have Coy with us. If not, we're going to try and get a couple of guests on. Maybe try and get. He ain't gonna be able to not be able to cuss though. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Oh, that's true.
That ain't gonna work.
We have on a Rumble show though.
Yeah. Now I might be able to try and procure Man of Justice. He's due for a show, as well as I don't know if you follow Dante for President.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Okay. So I'm going to try and procure a couple more guys. See if we can't get our 2 people back by then. But we don't know the topic yet, so we'll discuss that. But in the meantime, in between time, please, people, like, share. And if you know people that need to subscribe, tell them to come on over. We could do with the subscriptions. We're trying to get to 2K before too long here. We're kind of the stagnant point. You are right now our only hope of getting there.
Share. And a lot of you guys have TikTok. A lot of you guys have Instagram. A lot of you guys have just share the content. You're not forcing nobody to watch it. You're just sharing it. And somebody gets a little crazy and they want to click on it. Maybe, we get another subscriber. But again, I Pet Goat. I need everyone to watch it. I Pet Goat. And then email us, or next time when we come on Wednesday, tell us what you thought about it. Give us something. So, we understand that people are taking any information we're giving you. Also, I'd like to thank everybody that watched Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. I'm going to keep saying it. You need to watch it. It's the truth.
I'm just saying. It's a trick. It's a poor man's trick trying to get you to watch a rich man's trick. Either way, we'll catch you guys on another day, another dollar. Y'all take care, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow on Straight Talk. I don't know yet. It depends on how I wake up feeling. So I'm going to go take a nap now. So we'll catch you guys in a later time.
I got to go cook.
Peace out. We out.
War.